All right, before we get into the review, as you can see from the timestamp on this, that we are pushing 45 minutes, and I'm actually editing it at the moment. It is 45 minutes, 22 seconds long. Yes, I know it's going to be a long video, and I can hear some people say, "Why didn't you review these figures sooner? You already reviewed a couple of them." I'm essentially reviewing 5 figures, and if I take 10 to 15 minutes a piece for each of these figures, you're looking at a 45 to 50-minute video. So I get that people may not tune in for the whole entire thing, and you can scroll all the way through to get to the Bruce Wayne figure, but there was enough differences in the 4 other figures and one that I didn't even have that I thought it would be. Not that I'm doing articulation and all that type of stuff on every single one, but I did want to give each figure a little bit of a spotlight just in case somebody didn't maybe want to take the time and go back through my channel and see the other figures that I reviewed, that you can kind of get to see all of the figures. And I do have 3 of the 5 figures already. The Arkham Asylum Batman, this is the very first time I have ever had this figure, so that's really cool. So I kind of treat it like his review too, even though I don't get into the articulation points. But I did want to point that out. I apologize for the review being long, but at the same time, I just really enjoyed these figures. It was an anniversary gift from my wife, and I was just kind of gushing about these figures. So scroll through the ones that you want. I can't remember the time marker that Bruce Wayne actually comes in on. He's towards the latter part of the video. So without further ado, here's my review of the Batman Arkham 5-pack. Thanks for watching.
Rob?
Hello everyone, and welcome to Rob's Rogues and the BatmanUniverse.net, and we're looking at something very cool. It doesn't say it on the box, but it's being listed as the Batman Arkham 5-pack. So the description on the front says Batman Arkham Asylum, Batman Arkham Origins, Batman Arkham City Bruce Wayne, Batman Arkham City Batman, and Batman Arkham Knight Batman. So these are all of the main figures that have been released, with the exception of Bruce Wayne, which is the incentive to buy this. Now, I have all of these figures but the Arkham Asylum Batman right over here, so now I do. Now, this was an anniversary gift from my wife. She surprised me with this. I was in the comic shop with her while we were I was looking at other stuff, and while I was busy looking at some back issues, she went up to the counter and purchased this after I had kind of pointed it out and I was talking to her about it. I got her an anniversary gift, and she hadn't got me anything yet, and was kind of waiting for me to pick something out, and this was something I just pointed to, not realizing I was picking out my anniversary gift. So thank you very much. Like I did say, I do have 3 of the 5 figures, being the Arkham Origins Batman, the Arkham City Batman, and the Arkham Knight. I almost held off on picking up the Arkham Knight Batman because I thought, well, at some point maybe I'll pick this up, because I really wanted the Bruce Wayne figure, and I'd been talking about it, and my wife's been pretty good about that. So I do have 3 figures here that I already have. Now, the other figures that I already have, there are parts of them that are either loose or a little wobbly, so I'm hoping that these figures will be better than the ones I currently have. Not that there's anything wrong with them, but I am going to have some triplicates in some figures, and I'll just have to figure out what I'm going to do with it. But this is going to be really cool to have the Asylum Batman finally, and then the big one obviously is the Bruce Wayne Arkham City Batman, to have an official proper Bruce Wayne figure. So there's not much to this package at all. Like I said, there's no real big description of what it says. I mean, the technical description is all of the figures here, but it's being listed as the Arkham 5-pack. I'll show you the rest of the box here, and it's really large. It's like the Justice League box set, or the Heroes and Villains. So there is the Arkham Origins and the Arkham Knight Batman back-to-back, and these are sculpted by Gentle Giant Studios. And I'll show you the other side here, as I lost my train of thought right there. And there is the Asylum and City, and the City Bruce Wayne, and the sculptor is Dave Cortez on the Asylum and City Batman. and Chris Daleberg for the Arkham City Bruce Wayne. The back part of the package is just all of the Batman Arkham logos with Asylum, Origin City, and Arkham Knight. So that's it as far as the packaging goes. It says collect them all there. So that's about it. So what we're going to do is we're going to get them out of package, and we'll take a look at them. We'll take a look at the standard issue single carded figures up next to the 5-pack here. The only one I can't do a comparison on is the Asylum one, as this is the first Asylum Batman that I have. So maybe I can find some images and maybe we can kind of see what's different. So I'm really excited, and the big thing about this is getting a Bruce Wayne figure for the Arkham line, which is really, really cool. And it's nice that all the accessories that came with all the different Batmen are in there. So enough rambling, let's get these guys out of package, and we'll take a closer look at the Batman Arkham 5-pack. We'll be right back. Alright, here we are. We have the 5-pack finally opened, although truth be told, I've had this open for a few weeks now. I'm just now getting around to shooting this part of the review. I just wanted to get these guys out and enjoy the figures for a while, and just to kind of see all the differences and everything before I go directly right into the review. So now that I've had just a little bit of time to play around and monkey around with all of them, again, thank you to my wife if you're watching this. I know that she watches some of these every now and then. Like I said, this was an anniversary gift to me from my wife for our 8-year anniversary. I'd been talking about this Bruce Wayne, and I had been saying it like, it does suck when DC Collectibles does do things like this, like, hey, here's a figure everybody wants, but we're going to put him in a 5-pack. If you've been collecting the Arkham line of figures up to this point, chances are you probably have all of these other guys already. Now, there are some paint apps that are a little bit different. Like I said earlier when we were looking at the box, that I can show you 3 of them with their counterparts of the original release, but not the Arkham Asylum Batman. So this is going to kind of be my Arkham Asylum Batman review, and what I'll probably do when we look specifically at that Batman, I'll probably put up a picture of the stock DC Direct version. I don't think they were DC Collectibles at that point yet. Of that Batman, and I want to say right off the bat, I think his cape was blue that matched everything. I think in this they made the cape darker. In the video game, it kind of gave off a little bit of a really deep blue, but in this figure form for the re-release, they gave it a straight up black wash. So I'm not entirely sure how I feel about the blue on black and gray. That's kind of mixing all the different colors of Batman's costume together, but I digress. As you can see, hopefully on the ground, they really gave us a lot of accessories. Now, a lot of these are reused accessories that came with some of these figures originally, and some of them came with different figures, and they just decided to give us all of Batman's accessories for the most part right here. And I'm glad I have one for the Arkham Knight, as if you remember in my review, I broke this little piece right here. So this is probably going to go into my parts box, and for displaying, if I want to use the line launcher with this Batman or any of them, I'll probably use the broken one and try and save this one for a nice rainy day or whatever. So we'll get into all of them. The big reason that you're probably clicking on this is to see this Bruce Wayne figure. Now, I got to tell you, sometimes that we'll talk in the Rogue Show and just amongst other collectors, sometimes the preview images are better than the actual figures we get. And then sometimes the preview images don't do the figure justice, where we look at them and then fans kind of go, wow, that looks really ugly. Well, in some cases, it's a prototype and they're working on it. I am so very thankful and happy that Bruce Wayne looks a lot better, I'll almost say a million times better in the face and in the eyes than the preview image. And depending on how I edit this, I believe it'll be the main slide for this that'll kind of do the lead in and all that type of stuff. So, of course, I'm going to save Batman for last. The other 3 Batman right up here, the Origins, City, and Arkham Knight Batman, I've already done so to say, hey, here's how the leg moves, here's how the arm moves. You can go back through the Rob's Rogues catalog of videos and find reviews for each of those. It's really kind of funny. I went back to look at this one. It's in the older part of my channel where I had the white cloth, and it's just kind of funny to watch some of the older videos. So maybe don't watch those. But let's kind of move. Let's go chronologically through the video game. I would start with Asylum, but you know what I mean. We'll take a look at the Origins Batman. And when I was doing the Arkham Origins Batman, I was saying at that time that this was my favorite Batman in the collection. Let's move Bruce Wayne back here a little bit. I still think that holds true for the most part. The Capullo series, I'm trying to remember if the Capullo series Batman was out at the time I reviewed this. I don't believe so. I still really, really like this figure, and if you were kind of like, you know, what's the best Batman to get? I really think this is the biggest bang for your buck. If you kind of like the Arkham style universe, just as far as posability, this is one of the first times DC Collectibles. Matter of fact, I'll almost guarantee this came out before the Capullo series, because this was the first time that we had gotten an ab crunch from DC Collectibles. And we got a waist turn, and we got the T-jointed legs, and, you know, all those cool things that we had been saying forever we wanted from DC Collectibles. They finally had it in this Batman. The only drawback that I said in my initial review of this Batman was the closed fists. Now, he came with the whole pack came with this whole array of accessories, and this Batman cannot use any of them at all. So I thought that was my only negative complaint about this Batman that was otherwise almost perfect. And you might be looking at this going, well, it looks pretty much the same. Now, I'm not somebody that I feel like I have to buy every single Batman that he's just a slightly different paint scheme. He came in the pack, so obviously I bought him. But if they had re-released all of these as individual figures, I already have one. So here is the standard Arkham Origins Batman. Now, bear with me just a moment as I realize the camera is a little low, so I want to raise this up a little bit so I can kind of hold them in the light just a little bit better for you. So I apologize, just a moment. So I hope you can tell this on camera, and I think you can, that the original release is more of a matte black all the way around. So generally what they tend to do in a re-release, they will paint them in a metallic scheme, which I'm glad they didn't do in this case, or they will go with a really glossy black. And you can see just in the cape alone and the gauntlets where all the black is, they really went with a nice glossy finish. And I gotta say that I think I actually prefer the glossy finish over the original release. It makes this Batman that I just dropped all the way to the ground, that's really good. This is probably where I break a nose off or something. Or an ear, wouldn't that just suck? But I think I prefer the new version over the old. I mean, this old one is a little dusty. He's been sitting on my shelf for a little bit, not probably a couple years now. But even just in the grays, they just punched up the detail just a little bit more, and I'm glad it wasn't a straight up release, that they did give you just a little bit more. So am I going to have all of these Batmen all together on my Arkham shelf taking up space? No, I'm probably going to be putting the newer versions of these figures up and on my shelf, so the older ones will probably go by the wayside, and I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with the first release. It's just kind of like with all of us collectors, we're trying to save space for all of our figures, and now I'm going to be putting some to bed for a little while. So that's the Arkham Origins Batman. I probably spent a little bit more time on this one than I initially intended on, but I do like this one, and I like the repaint. This is still right now one of my favorite Batman figures. Although I think the Batman Incorporated Batman is kind of my new favorite, as I had picked him up last year. But anyway, so this Batman was always kind of prone to wanting to fall over. So maybe we'll just set them off to the side as I review them. Let's go with the Arkham City Batman. This was one that, as I went back through my channel, that I was really kind of raving about. The first Batman of this type was the Unmasked Infected Batman, which we have right here. And by far, this is still my favorite cape out of all of the capes that the Arkham line has had. I love the wind-blown look in this. This one I just never thought really translated well. I mean, it's nice. It keeps the figure from being back heavy and falling over because the cape kind of rests on the ground. But I just love this cape. So when this one came out, I thought, oh, please give us this color scheme of Batman with the cowl on. And this was the product. And at the time, this was my favorite Batman. I have his original counterpart right here. This one I was always disappointed in. You can see the white specks up here on the top of the cowl, that it wasn't painted or it was rubbed off when it got put into packaging. So this one always bothered me that it looked like he had these white tips, as I'm going the wrong way, Rob. White tips. I can't get my camera. You can just kind of see them right there. Once I point them out, it's like you can't unsee them. And it always bothered me. I loved this Batman a lot, but I kind of stuck him into the back row, into the shadow, so it was creating a shadow over the top of his head so I wouldn't see those tips. And I thought, well, if I ever found another one cheap. So I'm glad that they re-released this one again in this 5-pack. So now I have a completed painted version. I don't know if I'm the only one to have that happen in this particular figure. But again, we can see the glossiness that is put in to the paint here, and it just makes the figure pop a little bit, especially in the cowl of this figure. Well, you can see how I think even the face tone is really light here, and that I know there's a light shining right here, but even from this way, it's kind of washed out, and I like that they darkened up the flesh tone on this Batman. So it really kind of, I feel like I have kind of a whole figure. I always thought this Batman's face was too light, and you know, his ears, you know, weren't completed in painting. So I like this one. I am totally happy that he was included in this, and he has an updated paint scheme. Now he does come with his original gadget, which was the glue explosive gel gun. They also threw in the Bruce Wayne infected cryptic sequencer. So, you know, any of them could fit there, but they thought, you know, hey, here's the two Arkham City weapons, so that's kind of cool that, you know, if you happen to lose one of these or something like that, you've got, you know, replacements, or, you know, now Robin can have one. So I think it's kind of cool. This was, again, this was a figure that was always on my radar, like if I ever found another one, you know, maybe I'll get one with better ears. So now I've got them. Really cool. Let's go on to the Arkham Knight Batman. Now, originally when I reviewed this Batman, I was talking about that I was going to wait till the 5-pack came out so I could be justified in saying, well, now I have 3 figures that I didn't have. We'll move Bruce Wayne out of the side here. That I would have 3 figures that I didn't have. But I thought, I'm just not going to probably have the money to buy the 5-pack right now, so I bought the single carded figure. Once you know it, for my anniversary, my wife gives me the 5-pack, which I absolutely love. And there's some glue on this one, which kind of bothered me. I noticed it the other day as I'm kind of licking the glue off of here, and it almost looks like I got a scuff mark right there. So you can kind of see that spot, so I may have to kind of play with it. I don't want to scrape too much, and then, you know, a figure that's, you know, really kind of pristine is, I'm going to create a scuff mark. Now, this one is a little bit harder to tell where the paint apps are different, if at all. I'm going to raise the camera up here just a little bit more. Bear with me. The biggest way that I can tell these two figures apart is in the ears. And it's the opposite ear on both ones. This is the original release, and everybody has this crooked ear. You can kind of still see it right here. Bummed me out still to this day. I'm like, why? And it's every single one. Every review that I've watched for this figure, every one that I've seen in a store has this funky bent ear. So I was hoping in the 5-pack that Batman would have correct ears. They would have figured that out. This ear is perfectly fine. Now this ear is the one that's kind of warped. It's not bent, it's more leaning in, so I think with the little hot water trick, I can get that to stay up a little bit better. The glossy paint scheme is already on this figure. It was on the original released figure. So aside from the little scuff mark down here that really bothers me, maybe I could swap out torsos, but the only other way that I can tell the two figures apart is the ears. One has the ear to the left and one has the ear to the right. But they did fix the lips a little bit. The lips on this one are a hot pink almost, and the lips on this one are almost a purple. So I don't know if you can make that out. Purple lips, pink lips. So I think I like the lips a little bit better here, but I think this one is the better figure of the two. Not that the other one is bad, but the ears on this one don't bother me as much. And he came with the line launcher and the Batarang like he did previously. So there are those two accessories. I apologize for the review being a little long here, but that is how it's going to be with having so many Batman. Now the Arkham Asylum Batman. Now when this Batman first came out, I was like, oh, it's okay. I hadn't played the game. I didn't have a system that was able to play the game at the time. So I was like, oh, it's okay. It looks like a really cool Batman game, but I wasn't that invested in it because I hadn't played the game. So I wasn't, you know, knocking down comic book doors, comic book shops doors to go out and buy this figure just because I wasn't invested in the game. But once I got my PlayStation 3 for Arkham City, then I went back and played this game. I really wished I had bought this figure, and he was long since gone. It was getting kind of expensive online. So what I'm going to do right here, I'm going to pause the camera and I'm going to insert the image of the original release of this figure. We'll be right back.
Here's the standard photo that DC Direct was using for a while. They changed the cape and gave it to the infected Bruce Wayne. These photos that you're going to see right now are from Poe Ghostal's website. I apologize, I couldn't find any of their standard stock photos to be able to review. The cape is actually black. I had forgot for some reason that I thought it was blue. You can see the Batarang that he comes with, and you can see the little rivets there, and here's a close-up shot. So the only thing that's really changed is the glossy paint on the blue for Batman and then the glossy black.
Okay, I'm assuming that I remember to put a voiceover on the picture to talk about the differences of the two figures. So whatever I said, hopefully I said it. If not, then this part's going to sound really dumb. But yeah, the cape is the biggest thing, again, right now, because I haven't watched it yet. But I don't remember the belt being this gold. The bat is really standing out here in a nice black, almost glossy. It's borderline glossy and matte. They gave a nice glossy blue finish. You can see I've got a funky finger going on. Anthony talks about jive turkey necks. I've got pimp finger Batman right here. I don't know what's going on with his finger there. Fingers are always the weird thing on figures. If you have a wonky one, you're like 2 pounds of pressure away from bending a finger. So since I haven't really reviewed this figure, he's essentially the exact same figure as the Arkham City figure, the original release of the Arkham City. We'll do apples to apples here, show his counterpart from the box. Same exact body.
all the proportions are exactly the same. They just resculpted. They closed the hand on this one to give him a closed fist here. They closed the fist more on this one, but kept it a little more open. So you can see the parts that are different here. They just retweaked it. I still like this suit over this one, but this is a really good one to have because it's the OG, the original suit. The head on this one goes, can tilt left to right, can look down, look up, just about the same as his predecessor. It's really kind of limited, but he has more down motion, can look left to right and go in a full 360. Just like the Arkham City Batman, the arms go up only so far due to the cape, and it's actually not that bad. It's the cape is still really pliable, so you can get it almost a 90-degree. It's got the ball hinge shoulders, which won't go all the way around due to the cape being in the way. Has a single bend at the elbow, no bicep swivel. Hopefully I had that in frame. A rotation at the gauntlet, nothing in the hand. Legs go forward. So if there was a Batmobile for this guy, he could get in there. I think out of all these figures, the Asylum and City Batman are the closest to being able to get in a full seated position. So that's always cool. No T-jointed legs or anything like this, because this was pre-DC Collectibles, if I remember correctly. He has a single bend at the knee and a swivel at the boot and no hinge at the boot. So it's kind of getting that old school DC Collectibles. He does have a Batarang, which I do believe this is the original Batarang that came with this figure, but it is so close to the Arkham Knight Batarang. So I will have to go back through some older videos to see which one this is, because it looks really too close there. But he can hold this Batarang. He can hold this Batarang. He wants to hold it. If I had a little bit more elevation in his hand, I think he could hold it. So there we go. So he can hold the Batarang. It's not the best held due to the hand. He does come with the line launcher, which I believe this was his original accessory. This hand, you might as well forget about him holding it in this hand. I've seen other people review this figure, and it's just a wonky hand to try and hold something in. This would probably be more the ideal hand to have it in, but it is so tight gripped. The Arkham City hand, come on there. The Arkham City hand is open just a little bit more, so this one can kind of fit in there a little bit. And if I remember correctly, I think the Detective Vision Batman came with this accessory originally. So I just dropped it on the ground. And you may say, Detective Vision Batman. I don't remember that one. Well, here he is. So, the repaint. So, I believe this is the one that he came with. I'll have to check the parts box downstairs. I'm almost positive. So, there's the Detective Vision Batman. Aside from that, him not being able to hold the accessories really well. The other thing that I like about this, that I'm almost positive the original release didn't, is the rivets that are inside or on the suit. I do not believe those were prominent before, and again, we'll have to look at the image to find out for sure, but he is the only suit other than the Arkham Knight suit to have those predominant, and there they are in the Arkham Knight suit. The City suit, they did not color those in at all. This is the new version. The old version, you can see the rivets, but they aren't painted on. I think it just adds a little bit more to the suit. So, I mean, I like this guy. I'm glad to have him. So now I have each version of the bat suit, and that's really pretty cool. So that'll be it. Oh, that's right. There's one more. Of course there's one more. Bruce Wayne, which is the creme de la creme out of the series. And somebody's probably going to tell me if I'm wrong, and I will hope that somebody does, but I believe this is the first ever actually suited Bruce Wayne that was not a movie master's head swap on an Alfred body or a Harvey Two-Face body. Or a lot of the Bruce Wayne figures that we will get is a Bruce Wayne that changes into Batman, where he's in like a Michael Keaton turtleneck and gray pants or black pants with a gray shirt, and then you snap on all the accessory pieces on him and put the cowl over top. And I was always like, just give me a Bruce Wayne. That's all I want, a business suit looking Bruce Wayne that I can sit at a desk or just have standing talking to my Alfred figure or my Damian figure or whatever it is. That's what I want. We finally have one. I don't believe there's been another Bruce Wayne that's just been a straight-up Bruce Wayne and no other gimmicks to him at all. The face sculpt, I think, is really good. Now, it does look like he's looking up. What are you looking at up here? Look down. So his eyes are looking a little bit up. He's kind of a little cross-eyed, but that's not bothering me too much. I don't know if I could have painted any better than that. I have a little bit of a blemish that I really didn't notice. I'm not this close in on my figures. When he's standing on your shelf, he's going to be sitting back here, and he's going to look, great. But just the detail on the hair, you can see how the hair kind of wisps back a little bit. There's a little bit of texture, no real shading in it. You can kind of see the texture if it's in the hair. The ears look really good. There's the chin of Bruce Wayne. There. Hey, you're Batman. There's the Arkham Buster logo, as I've heard some people call it. And I think I said on Hugo Strange's review that the tiny printing, you can clearly says Arkham. I think it's pretty cool. There's texture on the tie, and the tie is a molded piece, or actually it should say a sculpted piece. The suit jacket is made out of the same material as the capes are. I'm sure if I pulled right here, I could, unbutton, so I'm doing finger quotes, the jacket, which I would not recommend doing. Now, he is almost straight up Two-Face or Black Mask. I think I even said in the Black Mask review, why don't you just use the Black Mask body and swap out heads of the Bruce Wayne Infected, which I'll bring that one up in a second, and just give us suited Bruce Wayne. But I thought, I want some decent articulation. So he has a hidden articulation that I didn't realize he had out of a package till I got to playing with him. And I'm okay with the standard DC Direct. He's borderline statue. Bruce Wayne, raise your hands in the air like you just don't care. Hey, no. So, I really wanted the ball-jointed shoulders on this Bruce Wayne. In the game, he was fighting the Penguin for a brief little moment. Not that you're going to get Bruce Wayne in some fighting stances, but just some extra posability would have been really good. But, again, I'm okay with it. It's a little bit of a bummer, but I'm just so happy to have this Bruce Wayne figure. I really don't care. So the arms go all the way around in the wonky DC Direct version. A single bend at the elbow, and I was almost afraid he wasn't going to have an elbow initial. Bleh, he was almost going to be a plastic statue. He has really good mobility in the head. So I can tilt side to side. Imagine if I did the hot water trick, this would be really good to take the Bruce Wayne head off and then put him on all of the different Batmen standing around here, so you could have an unmasked Batman that you didn't have to buy the infected Batman and then do a paint touch-up job, which I almost thought about doing. So he's got a good range of motion in the head. Surprising part of articulation that's hidden because of the jacket is the waist swivel, which I was like, that's kind of cool. I did not think, because I'm kicking the camera, I did not think this guy was going to get a waist swivel at all whatsoever. So that's really cool. The legs are kind of hindered by the jacket a little bit. If you kind of turn him a little bit, you can kind of get a little more motion. But as you can tell on the leg, there's no knee joint. I would have loved to build an office. I'm kind of still working on my Wayne Manor diorama. I would have loved to have put him in a desk or on the couch or something, but he's going to be sitting like old school Superpowers figures with his legs out, and that's about as far as they go. So I could have him reclining, on a couch, talking to Hugo Strange like, oh, I'm tired of being Batman. So 2 points of articulation. I would have foregone. I'm okay with the shoulders, fine, whatever. You don't want to break, the line of the suit. But I really, really wanted a knee joint. It didn't have to be a double jointed knee. It's Bruce Wayne. I'm not going to be doing karate kick, ninja, kung fu grip, double knee jointed, double elbow joints with Bruce Wayne. But not having, and I even think Black Mask. No, I don't think Black Mask does. I'll have to go back. For whatever reason, we do a suited figure. The detailing in the pants, you can see the crease in the pants. And, the pinstripes on the suit, they look nice. And I try and go, okay, it's Bruce Wayne. He's just probably going to be standing there anyway. But I still would have done it. I think you could have done it very easy, and it wouldn't have broken up. Even the Riddler has, I can't think what I want to say, knee joints. So that's the only part. The shoulders and the knees are the only two things I would have changed. If I could have changed one, I would have done the knees. And I'm being redundant here. Because of that, there's no articulation in the foot at all. So I would have been really shocked, like, hey, we got you an ankle hinge, but we're not giving you a knee joint. So I'm not looking a gift horse in the mouth. I absolutely love this figure. Now, the other thing, when we saw the preview images, he had closed fists. So when my wife gave me the package, I was like, oh, they gave him open hands. That's cool. He can hold on, to something. If you've got a Lucius Fox or you got an Alfred, he could kind of hold on to some of his gadgets, and, be looking at them. And then I noticed in the bottom of the package, he has closed fists. So this is an interesting figure that they chose to give us a closed-fisted Bruce Wayne if we choose, and the hands just rotate. Very easy. Hopefully I don't break this. Man, that's really rough. I don't think I'm going to do that again. So I can go in here, and I just dropped it. I didn't catch it on camera, but I dropped this hand 6 times. So it's really stiff trying to get it in there. So there's the closed fist. So, you can have Bruce Wayne sitting there. We need to close Arkham City. So the hand rotates there. Come to me, jungle friends. I'm so sorry. So you could have, Power to Arkham City going on here. I'm going to keep the hands open, and taking these off and on, there's a little plastic ring that you can kind of see, hopefully right there, that kind of keeps the hand from falling out. But rotating this one back and forth and pulling it out is starting to wear on the little nub, keeping it in there. So I'd just be careful. Some of his hand's a little bit looser than what originally was, but that's not bad. So I've got no need to keep Bruce Wayne with 2 closed fists. I guess I could for whatever reason, but I like him with the hands open. So I'm very, very happy with this figure. Again, this was the big pull and the big draw for the line. All right, here are the 2 Bruce Wayne Arkham heads back to back. They are 2 completely different heads. I did really like this head. I thought I would really had assumed that they were just going to use this head and get rid of the infected look from his face and just put it over here. So it's almost like it's the Arkham Origins Bruce Wayne as opposed to the Arkham City, because I thought the Arkham City head was pretty spot on to the way he looked in the video game, and he even has we didn't know at the time, but the Ben Affleck chin going on here. So apparently either when he's infected he gets the chin dimple, or when he's Batman he makes himself have a chin dimple. So sometimes I gotta think there's somebody in DC Collectibles that should be Gozar, the key master, looking at all the keys, making sure like, hey, we've got this head in-house, let's just use this head. But they resculpted the head. That's really cool. So I guess if you wanted to and you didn't like this head and you had a second one of these laying around, or you just thought, I'm not going to pose this Batman and could repaint, you could swap the heads out on the 2 if you prefer one over the other. I like them both for what they are. I wish the eyes were a little bit straighter in this guy, but it's not a huge deal breaker. His eyebrows he's borderline got a unibrow going on here as I'm looking at it too. And I gotta say, I think I still like the Arkham City head just a little bit better than the Arkham 5-pack. But again, I do really like this Arkham 5-pack Bruce Wayne. It's just nice to have a nice suited body Bruce Wayne finally, without, again, like I said, having to be, you know, quick change Batman going on here. All right, one more figure I want to show this Bruce Wayne with, and you might be able to guess who he is if you happen to have this figure. You could have Father-Son Day at the office. I've got my Batman and son, Damian Wayne, right here, which on this table he doesn't want to stand really well. But the two look really, really good together. I have my New 52 Batman with the Batman Incorporated Robin Damian figure standing together. And I might actually do the same here, kind of pose father and son together for some pictures or, you know, whatever. The two are pretty good in scale together, and I like doing things like this to kind of, you know, mix up figures and just kind of have them with different family groups. So I thought it's really cool that I'm able to do this as well. So here are all the Arkham Bat Men that I have, and I have all of them but a couple of standards. There was the Arkham Origins does have another paint scheme that was in the Batman 75th Anniversary Edition that was painted more in the traditional Batman colors, where it looks like he has the trunks and the yellow belt. There is the Mad Hatter version of the Arkham City Batman. Right here, these two guys. It has the bunny ears mask on them. And there is a second, or another version of the Arkham City Batman that has more articulation. Has an ab crunch and may have a double jointed knee, and not more of the standard ab crunch. But that was one I was like, I already technically have 4 Arkham City Batmans, with the Infected right here being the first one, this being the second one that was released. And this was really cool. Initially, I bought it because I bought it as a whole wave, the Detective Mode version Batman. I really kind of like this. Over the last couple years, I've always had him in the back part of my shelf, kind of in shadow, and my eye gets drawn to him right away because it's like, hey, he's in detective mode in the background. Even though you don't really see yourself in detective mode, I just kind of like how they did that, and they changed, you know, the cape on him. So I'm probably not going to go out and go get those other Batmen. I have good representations of the Batman figures that I want. The completist in me would like to say, oh, you have to complete the entire Arkham line. If I found some of the other ones cheaper, I probably would. But like I said, I have really good representations of the Batman figures that I have right here. And as you can see, we've got some duplicates going on here. So just like Batman has many suits, if I have one that has some wonky articulation or arm falls off sometime, hey, I got a backup. Or if somebody says, I never really got a chance to get this Batman, well, maybe I can do a good deed and pay it forward. So this is the Batman Arkham collection that I have right now. All right, final thoughts on this Batman Arkham 5-pack. The real question that people will have to ask themselves is this pack worth the price that you're paying? And I believe I said, since I'm about a week or so apart from doing the first part of the review, is the $80-some and change price tag on this pack, if you happen to have all of the other figures other than Bruce Wayne. In my case, I had all but 2. I am very happy with all of the repainted figures, and I think they look great, and they look better than their original counterparts. But that being said, do you want to pay $80 for one single figure? I think you're probably going to pay about that much for this one single figure. If somebody buys this 5-pack and tries to break it out over eBay, you're probably going to pay $50, $60 for just Bruce Wayne, unless somebody's really being generous and it's a buy now option on eBay and it's $40, then by all means jump on it. but I will almost guarantee with the couple that I've seen them almost go high as $60. So I'm thinking, all right, if you're going to spend $60 and then you're going to throw shipping onto that, you're probably going to be looking at 65, 70 bucks. You might as well jump headlong into it and spend another 20 and get the 5-pack yourself, and then maybe piece the other figures out on eBay if they sell, or swap them out like I'm going to. Maybe some of these other figures will become contest prizes, or they're just going to be added to my Batman collection, and that I can have, you know, like a vault, if you will, of Batman costumes, and have some of the other ones posed around in different stances. So I really do like this 5-pack. I absolutely love this Bruce Wayne, even though he has some wonky articulation, and he should have had the ball jointed shoulders. He should have had a bend at the knee. Easily could have done. Even that, I still really like it. So it just comes down to dollars and cents for you if you think this is something you really want. This was a lovely, thoughtful gift from my wife. So I think that even sweetens the pot, that she knows how much I was really trying to find a way to get this Batman, and that she knows how much I absolutely love the Arkham series of video games. And these figures, I think, are great. And the little chips and different things that I had wrong, maybe with some of my other figures, now I have 4 pristine Batman to go on my shelves to kind of replace the other ones that I've had for a little bit. So today we've been taking a look at the Batman Arkham 5-pack with the main exclusive, the suited Bruce Wayne Arkham City figure. And as always, this is Rob for Rob's Rogues and the BatmanUniverse.net signing off, saying we will see you guys next time.